Greetings from New Earth, Star Seeds. My name is Elizabeth Kristen. Welcome to my channel, Bridge to 5D, where I assist light workers in their transition to New Earth. So I wanted to talk about dimensions, my perspective on dimensions. So I never understood what people meant when they said this person has low vibes, because I understood all you can ever do is feel your own energy. So if you're sitting next to someone and from your perspective, they have low vibes, what you're actually experiencing is an aspect of your energy field that's resonating with their dominant energy field. So let's say the vibration you're sensing from them is lack or victim consciousness. What's happening is that vibration in them is resonating with that same energy that's within your energy field, that same frequency, and they're harmonizing. And so what you're feeling is how your energy field reacts to their energy field. You're still only feeling your energy. And so I didn't understand when people said, like, this person is low vibe, because you can only ever feel your own energy. So when you look at the third dimension, so the third dimension, the dimension you're in, is determined by the predominant frequency of thoughts that you're thinking. So the third dimension frequency of thoughts would be considered hell on earth. The fourth dimensional frequency of thoughts would be considered purgatory. The fifth dimensional frequency of thoughts would be considered Christ consciousness, heaven on earth. So I've had my consciousness anchored in 5D since birth, or since as early as I can remember. And sometimes I've gone skipping and singing through the dimensions. Sometimes I've gone kicking and screaming. And so I didn't have the language. I didn't have the language of dimensions, frequencies, densities. So the way I describe it is my other brain. So like when I was a teenager, I have to use my other brain because it's a frequency of thought. So you can think on the third dimensional frequency. You understand that frequency of thought. Then you can think on the fourth dimensional frequency. You understand that frequency of thought. And then there's the fifth dimensional frequency of thought. So for me, what it felt like is, and when I saw my son play first person shooter video games, this is when I was like, yes! That's exactly what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like I could think fourth dimensionally, and that was kind of like looking out through this physical avatar's eyes was my fourth dimensional frequency of thought. Then you could, like, the first person video games, you can like pull up. And so you kind of have an aerial view and you're looking down at your avatar and down at the space. That's what it felt like when I'd use my other brain, or like Christ consciousness, my fifth dimensional frequency of thought. It felt like I was going up here. Now, and it will feel like that until you have gone through the part of the light body process where your physical body is prepared for the greater Merkaba. It'll feel like you're shifting in and out. Now it's all in here. Now, so like, I'll give you an example. All right, so the fifth dimensional frequency of thinking, Christ consciousness. Okay, so I have a friend that thinks, and there is no hierarchy. Fourth dimension is not less than the fifth dimension. It's notes on a keyboard. So labeling the numbers implies that there's hierarchy, or even me doing this implies there's hierarchy, when really it's notes, more like notes on a keyboard. No one is better than the other. So it would just be absurd to go, this note on the keyboard is better than this note. That would be comparing dimensions and frequencies. It doesn't make any sense. Where was I? So if I had a friend that was in the fourth dimension, and let's say she was really excited about losing weight. From her perspective, she's 30 pounds overweight and she'd like to lose 30 pounds. And she's very, very excited about this new diet, and she's all in on this new diet. Now, the fifth dimensional frequency of thought would be your Adam Kadmon divine blueprint is within you. And you should be experiencing a body that is your absolute perfect body. absolutely perfect for you. You love every square inch of it. It's beautiful. It's the height you want. It's the weight you want. It's the figure you want. It's the hair you want. It is perfect for you. And that should be what you're experiencing. The only reason you're experiencing anything other than a body you're head over heels in love with is because of either blocks, you've gotten a disconnect from your body, you're trying too hard, you're pushing your ideal body away and saying, I can't accept my ideal body until I do this, 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 this. And so that you've created all these permission slips in your head of what you have to do to prove to yourself that you're worthy of a body that you love. The fifth dimensional frequency of thought is you already are worthy. You don't need a diet. You don't need to exercise. Your body will tell you exactly what you are supposed to do. It will draw you to the foods that are perfect for you to give you the perfect figure you want. It will draw you to the perfect exercise that you love to do. It will want to do this exercise. You won't need willpower. You won't need discipline. You won't need willpower, and you won't be disciplined with what you eat either, because your body is going to crave good, healthy foods for you. And so someone might say, okay, well, that hasn't been my experience. Well, if that hasn't been your experience because you didn't start with that belief, the belief that my body is divine, it is perfect. It knows exactly what to do. It is run by divine intelligence, and it knows exactly what to do for me to be as healthy inside and outside that's perfect for me. Whatever your ideal is, your body is naturally tuned to pull you towards all the things that will manifest that for you. So when you see people that isn't their experience, that they've had to have diets, that they've had to use willpower, it's simply a bunch of programs that they have adopted from birth to age 7 usually. And so it's not about all the permission slips that you check off. It is just the deciding that you're worthy of your divine blueprint and receiving it, and not allowing any thoughts or beliefs that contradict that. And when they do come up, realizing, oh, that's a thought, that's a belief about reality. It's not true. It is not a true fact about reality. It's a belief and a perspective I have on reality, and it no longer serves me. And then you return back to the thought of being worthy and accepting your divine blueprint and picturing yourself in a perfect state of health. So that would be the fifth dimensional frequency thought on weight loss. My perspective on the fifth dimensional frequency on weight loss. Now, this person's all excited about her new diet. She's super motivated. If I start telling her that if you focus on losing weight, that's just a permission slip. You don't have to all I'm going to do is confuse her. You meet people where they're at. And so you say, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. This sounds perfect. You're going to be amazing. Because telling her all of that would not serve her. So it not only would it not serve her, but I would be doing it from an egoic perspective. I have higher knowledge. I have higher wisdom. And my conversation with my friend isn't about me. It's about, how can I serve this person? How can I be an attentive listener? How can I empower this person? How can I meet this person where they're at? And it's more about communication. So I don't have to lower my vibe to communicate with this person that's on the fourth dimensional frequency of thinking. I still maintain my fifth dimensional perspective at all times, but I'm able to understand her perspective and serve her where she's at. And so that would be the difference. And that's why I didn't understand, low vibes versus high vibes. So the fourth dimension is what the fourth dimension is for, is to give you space. So the third dimension, you are the thinker of your thoughts. You don't have beliefs about reality. You simply perceive reality as it is. You're a victim. You're not safe in here. It's not safe out there. Always running survival programs. So that's why the third dimension would be considered hell on earth. The fourth dimension gives you space. You're not the thinker of your thoughts. You're not the body. And so that gives you space. So you're observing your thoughts. And what the fourth dimension is for is that space so that you can sort of hold every thought up to the light. Is this something I want to keep? Does this serve me? Whereas in the third dimension, you didn't have room for that. It never even occurred to you that you could change these things, throw them out, that they even were changeable. It was your lot in life. So the fourth dimension gives you that space. In order to make a lot of money, you have to hustle, you have to work 80 hours a week. It is a struggle if you want to make a lot of money. Does that serve me? Is that something that serves me? And I think light workers really overcomplicate this process, because once you realize this is a belief, this is something I picked up from somewhere else, this does not belong to me. I can choose to keep it or I can toss it. Now, one of the reasons why ego so desperately wants to hang on to those limiting beliefs is because what ego has done is, what it does is it searches back through the past and looks for patterns. And so ego's constantly either focused on the past, looking for those patterns, because those patterns are what ego uses to predict the future to keep their humans safe. Now, the whole premise that ego has based this on is my human has had experiences, and those experiences created these beliefs about reality. That's ego's whole shtick. That's what it believes. But fourth dimension is in an inverted matrix, which means up is down, left is right, good is bad. Fifth dimension, everything's right side right. But when all you've ever known is an inverted matrix, the fifth dimension seems upside down. It's not. It's right side right. It's the fourth dimension that's upside down. So ego does not understand. It did not happen that you had these experiences and what created your beliefs. You had the belief, and then you had the experience to reflect that belief back to you. So what ego's doing is keeping you on the exact same timeline. So you can't move forward and you can't really move back. It's keeping you consistently in the same groove, the same timeline, which is why, most people, when they attempt to jump timelines, they don't see a lot of change. They don't see this big drastic change that they're looking for, because that's what ego is doing. It's like all of the memories that ego believes created that belief and sustains that belief is like a grappling hook on that timeline. So when you realize you're in an inverted matrix, the belief came first, then the experience that reinforced the belief. So ego's whole plan that it's going to keep the human safe by using the past, patterns of the past to predict the future, is based on a completely upside down concept, which is why you have purgatory, or third dimension, hell on earth. So what the fourth dimension for is to get that space, to realize those experiences only showed me my beliefs. The belief came first, then the experience. So that gives you some space to decide, is this something I want to keep? Is this something that serves me? So that's what the fourth dimension is for. The fifth dimension is you're done evolving through lack. You're done evolving through fear. You're done evolving through pain. You're done evolving through suffering. All of that is done. And the fifth dimension is about, so in the fourth dimension, you look at manifesting your reality and consciously creating and the law of attraction. The fifth dimension, you choose your timeline and then you receive it. That's it. It is about allowing and receiving. You set your intention, you choose your timeline, and then you receive it. There's nothing else you need to do. It couldn't be any simpler. All right, Lightworkers and Starseeds, that's all I have for now. Godspeed, Starseeds.